I don't know, but I think after shaving my head, it looks pretty good.
Welcome to the last Jacob Wayne show of this year of Allah 2021. Back with me is Kellen Gibbons to ring out this last episode. How you doing, sweetness?
I'm doing good. Getting ready to kick this year out.
Mm-hmm. I guess the first things first, 2020 or 2021, other than the intensity of the COVIDness of 2020, which year was better to you?
Oh, 21, I think. Now that 2020 was terrible. Like, it really wasn't as bad for me as it was for some other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you and me and our buddies just kind of hunkered down and Minecrafted most of that year, it felt like. So,
Yep.
it
Well,
kind
and the
of,
stimmy checks, and if you're
yeah.
already self-employed, like artists type, that was just kind of a nice little injection. And
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. And
That was like 12 gigs.
yeah, but I don't know, man. Yeah, this year was not my favorite. It's definitely not the worst. Yeah, not as big of a fan. I like 2020 a little better.
Damn.
Yeah, just felt too grinding with
Mm-hmm.
work I had to do or get done. And just like I could never find enough like time to just get things done. And I think in some regards that's just due to adding more to my plate. But yeah, not the biggest fan. So I'm excited for 2022.
Yeah.
But let's do our first things first. You already opened your drink, but what you drinking?
I I forgot to make the noise.
And
I was so
along with
thirsty.
that, if you can think of it, conjure it to your mind. What was your favorite drink or beer or discovery about drinking that you made this year?
Holy God. That's a tough one right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm drinking the All Beyond Triple. I think I've had this one before.
Sounds
10 Club
familiar.
Family Brewing. So yeah, from down in Salt Lake, I think I've had it. So this one's definitely in the running. This brewery has brought me much joy. I don't know if they're a 20. They might have even been into 2020 a little bit though. So I'm not going to say they're the 2021 thing. I think honestly, the tastiest beverage I've had in this year is Weldworks.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to pick which one. That Either that Bam Bam, that orangey
Rubble Rubble.
one, yeah, or the one there was like a pie one, some fruity pie one out
Key
there.
lime pie. Yeah.
And
Orange dreamsicle.
that was the orange dreamsicle was good. And the one I don't know why, but the one I crave still is that peanut butter one. Man, I loved that one.
That's weird.
I know,
It's
it is
interesting,
very
but
weird. I like it a lot.
yeah, we had this. I made a little post about it on my Instagram about this candy cane, cream cheese,
Oh yeah.
whatever one. Like, definitely interesting, but I don't need peppermint in my alcohol. So
See, I even thought that one might be even a little weird for me just because of the peppermint.
you'd
That's
appreciate the craft, but yeah, not so much the flavor. But
yeah.
yeah, I suppose WeldWorks is the thing. It was the first year going to their actual location and getting a flight of all their different beers. I think I had key lime pies last year, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting their Juicy Bits IPA too. You guys like brought us some of that, I think in 2020, but just their full on sours and the craziness they're getting into now. It's so good.
Oh yeah. Well, we have to move along at somewhat of a brisk pace because we have chunkier segments coming up. As far as food, what was a food discovery you made this year? What was the best? Top one.
Japchae.
Japchae
It's
noodles.
changed my life.
Yeah.
In a good way. And we actually just got a restaurant here in Logan called Cup Bop that has it. That's pretty dang good. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I think mine might have been chicken crust for chicken crust pizza.
Oh.
And there's a couple of those recipes that I'm not totally sure if that was like the end of last year or the beginning of this, but like chicken with cream cheese in the middle wrapped in bacon.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Or oh, okay, I got one, then we'll move right along. It was when I visited Utah this year and was hanging out with Michael Valentine, as the show knows him. And he took me to his friend's Senegalese food truck.
Oh yeah.
And it has some stuff that you're kind of used to, like chicken and rice and whatnot, but it had these smashed fried plantains mixed in with the spices they use for the chicken. I was like, oh yeah, that's some tasty new stuff for me. So yeah,
Nice.
smashed fried plantains and then those recipes at home. But so
Good stuff.
I suppose this show needs somewhat of a disclaimer. We're both individuals that tend to enjoy various media forms like video games, movies, music, etc. But I wouldn't say that we're the most on top of the current as some people.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and me do a lot of backlogging. It's like, 1977, what was that year up to?
Yeah.
And then kind of getting sucked into that, or like historical things. And so take that for what it is, because some of these areas I know I didn't, and I'm going to guess for you, and you tell me if I'm wrong when we get to any of them. But I don't imagine you got too deep into the new stuff on some of these segments. So
Man.
what this show kind of is we're going to do a fun little drinking game trivia at the end, like we do from time to time. Go over a couple 2021 things, because I always liked end of the year wrap up shows. Some people don't like them, but then some people also don't like sex, so they can go fuck themselves.
Hey.
So first things first, let's get some of these out of the way so we can get into music, where I know we did a little bit more listening and doing. Newest video game, new video games from 2021. What was the best one?
Oh, for me, Valheim.
It was Valheim here too.
My game of the year. Yep.
I tried a bunch of new games. Some are not 2021 new, so there is that.
Uh-huh.
So I won't bother getting into honorable mentions because we got more to get to. But Valheim, I think I've still played more hours on that than this New World business I've been up to. And while New World is fun for its MMO aspects, and that's the first time I've really ever officially had like a group of 5 people going at something consistently like that. So that's been fun. But Valheim, you and me played it in one world, and then I went back and replayed it with this group that ended up playing New World. And yeah, Valheim is just, it's a little bit of that MMO thing, but so much more free with the building, and like the vibe could just be real casual. The combat was a lot of fun and like thrilling, because you could really get fucked up.
It was scary.
And I think it's definitely in line with other games like Minecraft and even Skyrim a little bit, all these big games that you remember from over the years. And that's why I would say that's my number one.
Yeah, it's just it feels like it kind of took a lot of fun elements from a lot of those other good games and just kind of brought it all together. Like didn't try to go crazy on the graphics, but it looks really good and just made a solid game.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
definitely. So moving right along, what was the best new movie of the year?
Oh God. Hold on, let me
Did
see.
you see how many new movies did you see?
Well, I saw a bunch of new movies. I just don't know if any of them were let's see. I did watch Luca. That was good.
Hmm.
That was new this year.
What was that about?
It's a Disney Pixar thing.
Okay.
So it's the Italian one. So it's a coming of age story. So yep. It's really fun little they're a little Italian movie. It's a good time. I like if you're in the mood for one of those Disney Pixar things.
Sure.
It's fun family classic.
That's
That was
gonna be
really
your number one.
So that was like the only movie from this year that I watched that I know is from this year. What else came out this year? Let's see if I
Oh,
saw
plenty
one
of
that
stuff.
I totally missed.
There's a lot I missed. So, bunch of Marvel movies, The Last James Bond. If you remember, during this year we did the trek through HBO Max releases, which a lot of them I ended up not even watching because it was stuff like Space Jam Legacy or Tom and Jerry, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah.
So with movies, it was a lot of revisiting favorites and seeing stuff I'd never seen before that was a big deal. And this is going to get a little bit of anger, but if it does anger you, feel free to write us at thejacobwayneshow@gmail.com because we always like a little bit of feedback. But I recently watched Gladiator for the first time.
Yay.
I don't see what the big deal is.
Oh.
I think that movie's like really mediocre and flat.
Word.
And it's like, more action, cool. Russell Crowe, stabby, stab. And I kept trying to like, well, the music's amazing. So many people were saying that. It's Hans Zimmer. I love Hans Zimmer, but it seemed like whatever to me.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix is really good in it as a little Weasley son of a bitch, kind of like he is in a lot of things. And Russell Crowe was just Russell Crowe. He had a pretty good cry. Spoiler alert, the Roman Empire has his wife and kid murdered. So his little cry drool thing. I kept trying to watch it, and like, this was 2001 though. It was the 2001 Best Picture winner. But I think it came out in 2000. But either way, I was just like, maybe this would have been a big deal to me when this came out had I seen it. I would have been like, yeah, like it's so stirring and emotional, but there's just so much other things that have done it better. And as a bit of a history nerd, they're just, this one emperor tried to bring back the Roman Republic. Like, no, he didn't. Like, what the hell is this? Like, and it is kind of a what if story a little bit, but it's just like, yeah. So anyway, that's a lot of what I did this year. My best movie of the year was Dune, because that was a long time coming. That movie's been in development hell for well over a decade after they released the weirdo 80s version. And there's like the Sci-Fi Channel one that was like Sci-Fi Channel-y.
Yeah.
And I think they did a great job. Hans Zimmer, who did the score, did a great job. Denis Villeneuve did a wonderful job directing. And the actors were really good. So now I'm going to start a whole new culture thing where giant fans of Gladiator are going to shit on Dune just because I shit on Gladiator a little bit, but liked Dune. Because that's how people enjoy movies these days. It's exactly what's going on with Matrix 4 right now. I'm not going to get into it because we don't have time. We'll maybe discuss it in the next episode because I'm debating about whether to do a movie review for it or just wait till next year to start doing those again when I have more time. But it is interesting. It's a lot like Star Wars Last Jedi. Some people thought it was the end of democracy. Some people thought it was the end of democracy from their angle. And it was just civil war over a Star Wars movie. So
Yep.
Pretty fucking stupid. Anyways, we did video games and movies. Was there a new TV show that came out this year that you liked? That you thought was the best?
Oh man.
I'll let you take a quick look.
Let's see.
Obviously, the biggest one for everybody was Squid Game. I mean, everybody was talking about that shit. But haven't gotten around to that yet. I have a sneaking suspicion that might be my favorite new show of the year. But until I see it, it's Loki. One of those Marvel shows. I just thought Loki was a lot of fun. Multiverse weirdness like they're all getting into in that old MCU. And other than that, I once again was catching up on stuff. I've been showing Shaki Sopranos for the first time. I watched Ozark for the first time. A little bit of The Wire as I continually slowly watch that show that's really great, but absolutely not bingeable. I know there was one more, but see, it wasn't that important because I couldn't remember it. So you got one?
Well, it didn't come out like a new stuff this year, but I'd say my favorite one I started watching this year is probably the Fargo TV series.
Those were good.
That was very good.
But they did not come out in 2021, so strike it from the record.
Didn't you say The Wire?
No, as I was giving you time to find a show.
Ah, okay.
With banter.
What TV shows did start this year? I don't even know.
A whole bunch of ones I never saw or heard of.
Yep. So
ton of MCU ones.
Yeah.
Squid Game.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Squid Game?
I've only seen memes about it, and I just was like, nope. Just seeing the stuff, I was like, not for me. But maybe I should try it, but I don't know. Maybe
well, it's
Games
Korean.
vibes.
You like the japchae noodles? Maybe this extends to other areas.
Worth a try.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all a matter of what you have time for, and I definitely respect people's like, no, that's not for me, and I haven't even seen it. If you're a disciplined viewer or listener, whatever it may be, you're like, nah, like maybe one day I'll throw it on just to see, but no. I'm like that with a lot of music. And so with that, shall we get into the music?
Yeah.
All right, because I don't think there's anything left on that list.
That's all the traditional forms.
Do you have any honorable mentions for your top 5 albums of the year? New albums released in 2021?
No, I can't think of any. I barely came up with my 5, so I kind of sucked at getting new tunes.
I will be quick because I was way better about this year. These are like lowest tier honorable mentions where I'm just gonna say the artist names. So if you want to like slow down your audio so you can catch all of them, if you give a fuck while you're listening, feel free to do so. But these honorable mentions are Tropical Fuckstorm, Hiatus Coyote, Vince Staples, Sneaker Pimps, Melvin's 5-Legged Dog album, Mastodon, Idols, Courtney Barnett, and the collaborative album between Aesop Rock and Blockhead. So those were all fairly interesting, this and that. And all I will say is that Melvin's was a band that I listened to a ton this year. I finally just started getting really into them. And this album they released is just like acoustic covers of all these old songs. And so I barely getting into these old songs. So hearing acoustic covers of them didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
I was just like, nah, I'm still getting into all the heavy stuff. And one of my favorite things about the Melvins is the tone on their guitars and various ways they mix their stuff. So I was like, acoustic, like, meh. And I've never been that into acoustic albums anyways. It's pretty hard to get me in there. So there is that. As far as this next list of albums, I'll actually say the album names because they were a little bit bigger to me, but still didn't make the top 5. There was Tomahawk's Tonic Immobility, one of Mike Patton's little things. Yeah, Black Midi, which is their album Cavalcade, which had that weird John L. cult leader video we watched. Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined. Cannibal Corpse is a lot like Meshuggah for me, where they just keep refining what it is that they do, like better and better. And it's just like, mwah. And I did have a quick question for you before I continue. Do you know the difference between death metal, black metal, or grindcore?
I think so.
Could you inform the audience real quick? Because I realized, like, I'm not sure what Cannibal Corpse is. I think they're death.
Yeah, I'd say they're death metal. Like death metal is just like really like fast, and the guitars like I feel like the death and black metal are really close. The black metal has a lot more to do with like the theme, so that's like more like dressing up, and like the black metal does seem to have a lot of more just like just like the tremolo guitars. They like to do that a lot. Or death metal will still like kind of break it down.
It's a little more caveman-y.
Yeah. And then grindcore is just like is core, so it's not like metal, it's just like really, really nasty punk, hardcore stuff. So it's like they're just like nasty guitar riffs, maybe not quite as much distortion as metal. And the singer, See You Next Tuesday, his first album, his band before that was called Flesh and Blood Robot. That's like what I would consider more like grindcore.
And I guess I was mixing up grindcore with thrash metal. Thrash is like the old
that's like
80s.
Slayer, Pantera. Which all those other people are like, that's not metal. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I can't listen to that crowd of people.
Oh no, don't listen to the metal crowd, the jazz crowd, the classical crowd. Anyone that like only listens to one of those,
or the rap crowd,
ignore them.
They've got
anybody that just listens to one of anything.
This is the only real rap. This is the only real metal. I'm like, shut up.
Yep.
Anyway, continuing. Speaking of a band that I guess isn't metal anymore, Gojira, their album Fortitude, which won metal album of the year somewhere, but people are like, "Oh, it'd be great if they put out a metal album again." It was just like, yeah, like I'm kind of glad that they tried other things than just doing exactly what they did 3 albums ago. But call me crazy.
Each one of their albums have been pretty amazing and a little different. That's cool.
That's what I would say. But then there was more Chiba, Black is Blue, a great new album, but I just haven't listened to it enough. Yeah. And that is ultimately what helped me make my decision on my top 5 is what were ones that I actually came back and kept listening to more and more. And, like some of these, I know I love them, but they just I listened to them hard for about a week.
Yeah.
And then kind of, So there's Butcher Brown, the album Encore. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you're the one who talked about them. A video today popped up of their organ player like getting ready to record some tracks. I don't know if it was that album or another album, and I was just like, God damn, this guy's good.
Yeah, no, they're very good. And just kind of went to the wayside a little bit this year. St. Vincent's Daddy's Home. She was one of my favorite kind of artists over the last few years, but this one, I do like it, just didn't quite ring with me like the other ones did in the past. Definitely got to give a shout out to Limp Bizkit releasing something again. Their album still sucks. It's very Limp Bizkit. We've talked about it plenty on this show, but really interesting band stuff and goofy, entertaining. What the hell is thatness from Fred Durst? But I'm happy that they're putting stuff out again and reminding people that they're the kings of late 90s new metal, whatever that means.
Oh, yeah.
Diablo Swing Orchestra did not make my top 5. It was Swing and Stroll Down the Rabbit Hole. We've talked about that one quite a bit. I have a sneaking suspicion that's going to be in your top 5, so we'll just keep going. And Devin Townsend's, I'm just going to mention both albums, The Puzzle and Snuggles. Really respect them, really like them, but just didn't feel the need to really keep throwing them back on. So all of these I would hope to, keep revisiting, because I'm definitely the type of listener that, I'll kind of like, all right, that was fine. And then 5 years later, I'll come back to it and start to get really into it. Like, it takes me a while to warm up to a lot of stuff. And I find that the albums that I do play over and over and over again when they first get released, then they somehow go away and I almost never put them on again. So it's actually probably a good sign if I listen to it a couple times and just set it aside.
Let it stew.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, that's going to be one. I'm just not sure what to feel yet. And that's absolutely why Limp Bizkit's Still Sucks is not in my top 5, because I'm a big old Limp Bizkit boy. But that was a quick digestion, and then like, I'll probably not put this on very much for a while. But with that, let's get into our top 5s, and we'll go with your top 5. Your number 5 first.
All right. Well, like I said, I had trouble finding 5. So I'm going to do, it's this is top 5 albums of the year. In this way, I'm not saying this is one of the top 5 albums of the year. It was a top 5 album affecting my year. So I'm going to go with.
I'll let you say it, but had to come out this year.
Oh, it did. Highline Drifters. The album, an album I'm on, which did take up a lot of my time, and is very good to finally have it be out. So,
sure. Say the whole title again.
It's just self-titled. It's the Highline Drifters self-titled album.
That's available on all your streaming services.
Yeah, the Spotify's, the YouTubes, it's all over.
Well, I didn't know we could do that. So yeah, there's some new Gamma Paw releases as well. So go check that out.
Albums?
EPs. What's the difference? It's 2021. But my number 5 was Big Dumb Face, Christmas in the Cave of Dagoth. Because Big Dumb Face is the brainchild of Wes Borland, the guitar player of Limp Bizkit. Always been a huge influence on me. And this is way more of his true self. He's always been kind of the odd man out in Limp Bizkit and does great riffs for him. But Big Dumb Face, Eat the Day, Black Light Burns, all that other stuff is way more him. And why this one makes my top 5, because it hasn't been out very long at all, is it's a completion of a trilogy of his. And this started in 2001 with his first album, Duke Lion Fights the Terror. And that was always such a weird one-off album, inspired by Ween and Mr. Bungle and all that stuff. And it's when I bought that as a CD when I was a young boy, me and my buddy DJ memorized it and just loved it and would always listen to it. And they're like, wow, they're never going to make this again or another one of these. Because then he just went off to do other projects and come back to Limp Bizkit and leave Limp Bizkit and then come back to Limp Bizkit. And you're like, well, yeah, Big Dumb Face is just so way back when. And then he released a second one that was released on Halloween, which also happened with the new Limp Bizkit record, which is interesting trivia. But yeah, that one was wonderful and a great treat for Halloween. So this one is number 5 purely because it was the most excited I got about something coming out and then having it deliver and just be a great, wonderful, weirdo fucking album.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's on. I didn't really get these right down to top 5, so I'll just put that one in my slot 4 because it's also on my list.
All right.
He
Cool,
turned me
cool.
onto it, and it's awesome. I've been digging it I listened to it like 3 times the first day I listened to it. I was just like, again.
Awesome. No, yeah. And it's all like a shit ton of hilariously programmed drums, but he does all the guitar playing himself,
Yeah,
which
there's
is
some cool
important to
guitar
point out.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was wondering if the drums were programmed or if you got somebody to come in and lay it down. And
That was always a thing of his. It
he
was
does
Big
all
Dumb
that.
Face is just this ridiculous, inhuman metal drummer.
Nice.
And yeah, but then he also takes synths and like wires them together to make all the weird keyboarding noises. So that's like created live, not
Yeah.
like through his computer per se.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he
Hey.
does the whole vocal distortion, and if you can't understand what he's saying, it's kind of on purpose.
Yeah.
On the second album, it became even more distorted, and people were like, "Why can't I understand any of these lyrics?" And it seems like he doubled down.
Yeah. Nice.
So
when I can't understand them, I think I'm just like, huh? Which is fun.
yeah,
So it makes it funner. Yeah.
that's what I think. And it's like, yeah, as you're like, little cocksucker, you're just like, wait, what? Like, it's fun to try to catch them.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, my number 4 is Japanese Breakfast, their album Jubilee. This was kind of like my musical crush of the year. I always managed to find some female musician that really worms her way into my heart, and just had a lot of like interesting, creative, low budget music videos, and looked at some of her past live performances, and then I was anticipating this album coming out, and it's like a mixture between you always remember the name of it because you're the one that showed it to me. What was that pop song that came from Japan?
Oh, the Goodbye Good Girl one?
Yeah, Goodbye Good Girl. Can you just search that on YouTube and it'll pop up?
The artist?
Yeah. Either way, it's a little elements of that, like what I think they call city pop in Japan. But it kind of has like city pop mixed with like 80s pop music and kind of indie guitar. There's elements of it that remind me of that band you were in way back in the day, Water and Walls.
Yeah. Tentenko. That's right.
Tentenko.
Tenko. Tentenko. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's just a great catchy tune. I don't know if it ever quite reaches that level of city poppiness, but yeah. It's just a very good vibe record, and really got into her this year. And yeah, when I'm a little too tipsy and I'm just like outside staring at the moon, it's my whimsy music. So that's why it's number 4.
Hell yeah.
Sir, go ahead.
All right. So, kind of just was gonna do a little Devin shout out, just all the stuff he did this year. Just he did some really interesting stuff with the whole quarantine, the puzzle / Snuggles album you mentioned.
Yep.
And he released his Devolution series, number 1 and 2. So number 1 is like an acoustic album, live in Leeds. It's on one of his DVDs, but he put out just the audio. And then the other one is just like random places around the world. It's like he streamed this album, random live videos from different shows, and put them all together as a thing. So he just kept real active through the whole quarantine, did some cool stuff. And I got his very first acoustic album forever ago, and he always has done pretty interesting versions of his songs that he does acoustically, and some of his songs are written that way. But
Sure.
so yeah,
Awesome.
the combined works of Devin of the year.
What was your favorite one out of all of them?
I'm leaning towards the Snuggles. I like that one.
Yeah.
So nice, but that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to just wrap you up and hold you.
I was yeah, that was one that kind of hurt to take off the top 5. But because I really respect the guy and I really respect the project, but yeah, just didn't keep coming back into my brain often enough.
Yeah.
So we'll see about next year, but then it won't be a new release next year. So we will move on. This one I felt a little guilty putting on, almost for somewhat similar reasons. But Mr. Bungle released The Night They Came Home live. And this is probably the most enjoyable live album I've ever listened to. I usually don't like live albums very much.
Huh.
And there was enough new stuff on there that was separate from their release last year, which was that the Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo, which is a remake of their high school album. It's a lot of the same songs from that, so I was kind of like, does it fully count as a new album release or whatever? But I was just impressed enough with the live album enough, and there was enough new stuff on it, and I listened to it a lot, perhaps even more than the original demo. So yeah, it's number 3. And I got to give a shout out to Mr. Bungle because this was definitely a year I fell even more back in love with Mike Patton. Tomahawk was another band of his that was an honorable mention. Really got into Faith No More this year after not totally vibing with it. And yeah, that's number 3.
Hell yeah. All right. Number 2 is one I did shout out when it came out, which is way back in February now. This is just a fun little jazz album by one of the living legends, the Samba de Maracatu by Joe Chambers. Came out on Blue Note, and yeah, it's a great album. It's got some standards, some new tunes he wrote, and he plays drums and vibraphone on it. So yeah, he's such an amazing drummer. He's just really cool. I just earlier today was watching a video of him just breaking down, like, not even just a drummer, but like what he's like, this is why people think I'm a good drummer. It's because I do this and I do that. Everybody in the band should do this, and everybody needs to do this. And with some good advice, that guy's solid. So Joe Chambers.
Nice. You say Blue Note, that's like the record label?
Yeah.
Is there anything particular to know about Blue Note?
They're just the big jazz label.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One of them.
Cool. Well, hell yeah. Number 2 was the band Salt, spelled Sault, and their EP album, whatever you want to call it, named 9, the number 9. And I played this like a motherfucker when it first came out. Like, just, it was, for some reason, like, it was like punky dance UK underground stuff, but it's like soul and rhythm and blues and all this stuff. And it basically, it was like if you took the Snatch soundtrack and smushed it all together. That's like kind of how it came off to me. I was like, yeah. And so I was like, and it's like has such a DIY kind of vibe to it. Like, just wow, it's like 3 or 4 talented individuals got together and just they shot this out.
Yeah.
And the thing that elevates this for me in particular, and let's see, I had this up. I might have to look it up again real quick. But yeah, I'll look it up just to make sure I get this right. Actually, you know what? I think I might just remember it. So they don't nobody knows who's in this band.
Oh,
So they just kind of appeared as this band, Salt, and they released the stuff constantly. And just by word of mouth, it kind of got through. Obviously, some bigger musicians or something, because, you know, they were getting people like Questlove to talk about it. And I mean, that guy does do a deep dive. Like, he has a crazy record collection and all that. But it's like, all right, certain people are talking about this, but nobody says who's who or what's what. And so the album title, 9, they released it on only like online streaming services. And it was only up for 99 days. And then they took it down. And they have no intention of putting it back up or releasing it. You know, I imagine down the line maybe they'll release a vinyl, who knows. But it like kind of created this whole weird buzz where it's like, yeah, you get 99 days to listen to it, and then we're taking it away. And then if people rip and copy it and get it out there, they're not going to do anything about it. They're just like, no, yeah, just it lives that way. I thought that was kind of like really interesting. And it takes a lot of nerve to release something that good and then be like, nope, you don't get it anymore, public. I was just like, the nerve. I wish I had that luxury as a musician, where people like gave a fuck enough to be like, oh no, it'll live on. People know those songs. They'll download them. They'll find a way. But yeah. So anyway, that's why that's number 2.
Hell yeah. That's pretty cool.
So does this lead us to your number 1?
Yep. Which you already...
I called it.
You called it.
All right.
Swagger and Stroll Down the Rabbit Hole from Diablo Swing.
We've talked about it a bit, but why is it your number 1?
I don't know. I just... all the albums that came out this year, you know, I mean, Diablo Swing Orchestra always brings it. And they brought it again. That album's killer. Start to finish, cool tunes. They've stepped up the musicianship, the songwriting. I dig it. It's cool. And I listen to it quite a bit. It's definitely the most played album.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I listened to it for a bit, but then it kind of went to the side for me. So I couldn't put it in my top 5, even though it's another band I really respect, really love them. They really did go up a notch on it. But yeah, it was kind of a weird year for me too with music, because my kind of go-to favorites of like heavy rock music, metal, or like rap and stuff, I just wasn't that into it this year. I was doing a lot of like 80s pop albums and reggae and goth stuff. I was just like, I just really like the more low-key, mood setting type music. And it's probably why this album was my number 1. It was by this pop artist named Halsey, who on a whim decided to contact Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross and say, hey, would you mind writing the music for my next album? And we talked about that on one episode of this show, where it's like, I kind of wish pop artists that had that capacity would hire musicians like Trent, or just, you know, whoever that, you know, isn't totally mainstream, although Trent Reznor's getting there, like having done all these movie scores and whatnot. Like, he's starting to become a bit of a household name. But yeah, it was kind of interesting in that regard. Like, all right, if you're just going to be kind of a singer and you don't really write your own music, like, go hire these other bands and see what happens. And this one wins because it, like, I listened to it the most out of all albums this year. And it's like one of my favorite aspects of listening to music is throwing in my headphones and going on a walk. Whether it's go get groceries, go downtown, or just simply go on a walk. and just listen to tunes. And this is the one that I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be walking and vibing. I'm gonna throw on this album.
Yep.
And it kind of just like got me in my head and matched my emotions this year. And
Nice.
so yeah, that's why that's number one. And that's definitely like, it's interesting because if you would have talked to me like 10 years ago, you're like, yeah, this pop record by Trent Reznor is going to be your favorite album that year. It's like, all right, Trent Reznor, sure, but it's interesting how much he adapted to stuff that is popular in music right now and still did his own Trent thing with it. And so it does feel very modern. And that's another thing I got to give it kudos for, because a lot of modern stuff I'm not that into.
Yeah.
And yet this was like, oh, yeah, there's still new, fun, interesting stuff coming out. And yeah, so that's the end of my top 5.
Go, good tunes.
Oh yeah. So with the last part of this episode, we're gonna get into a trivia drinking game.
Yay.
You got something to sip on?
Oh yeah, still working.
All right, still working. Before we get into that though, did want to discuss a couple things about this year. I looked up the 10 most significant world events in 2021.
Oh.
And wanted to get your thoughts on that. I'm not going to read this whole list though, because some of it was like really like whatever. Like the AUKUS deal debuts, which was that weird arms agreement that the US did with Australia. And they like totally like cockblocked France.
Uh-huh.
And like, yeah, I remember that. That was a big deal, but at the same time, you know, a migration crisis tests rich countries. Like that's going to happen more and more due to climate change. So gee whiz.
Yeah.
Iran's nuclear program advances. What else is new? Supply chains falter. That was a big deal this year, but
not nearly as bad as everybody thought.
Sure. The Taliban's return to power. That was a big one.
Yeah.
But all I will say with that, the end of the war in Afghanistan and them taking it back in less than a month, everybody's like, this is the biggest fuck up and Biden's done. He's going to get impeached and blah. But the American public's support for ending the war in Afghanistan was, I think, at like 64% or something like that.
Yep.
So people wanted it to end. It was just a nasty reminder of how little was accomplished during our time there and how ready the country was to fall back into the hands of the Taliban. So it was definitely depressing and had, you know, elements of Vietnam ending, that war ending.
Yeah.
But yeah.
None of the issues were really Biden's fault. He was just finally did it, which we've been wanting it forever.
I am still quite in support of that. He actually just did something because it needed to be ended.
Yep.
But number 5 was Ethiopia's civil war worsens. I should probably know more about that than I do. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things. It's an unstable area. The global democratic erosion continues. What? Yep. We all knew that. I'm saving number 3, and it's weird that it is number 3, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Number 2 was COVID-19 vaccines arrive as the virus mutates, which it is odd to think that the vaccines arrived this year.
Yeah.
It was right near the beginning.
Yeah.
But one thing that I was going to read on this really quick, if I can find that. Vaccines historically have taken 10 to 15 years to develop. And this is the quickest any vaccine has been developed. And previously it was 4 years was the fastest one for the mumps. And yeah, this was created in less than a year. and they work surprisingly well, especially the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, and both more than 90% effective. So you know what? If people that didn't want to take vaccines because they were nervous about, like the research, I could almost buy the like, hey man, like these vaccines take 10 to 15 years and they went so fast. I just want to make sure that the science is sound. And you could explain to them that it's like, well, the reason those things took 10 to 15 years is they were underfunded because it wasn't a big priority.
Yeah.
But I could almost buy it if it wasn't clearly just like a fake out for, no, you just think the virus, the vaccine is the mark of the devil. Yeah. And it's going to make you communist.
They said if there were people that say I do my own research, they're just like, hey, go on out of here.
Mm-hmm. The number one, which I think is definitely the number one problem, is that countries fail the climate change challenge again. So when they got together in Scotland, all these countries are like, yeah, we didn't quite hit the mark on curbing emissions and weatherizing homes, so on and so forth. But that was at least kind of be expected.
Yeah, at least the United States went again.
Yeah, we went back, which is nice. And there are some positives within that, but yeah, we need to do more there. So I would say that is the crisis of our time. I don't think it's wild to say that, but I think the biggest thing that will be remembered from this year was Joe Biden becoming president. And not because that's that big of a deal. For me personally, I think he's a mediocre, touchy, smelly weirdo. But he's like a mediocre, touchy, smelly weirdo that reminds me of the 90s. Your Bill Clintons, your George Bush seniors. It's like,
it's your grandpa.
I don't really like him much, but that's over there, and I don't have to think about it every day. And so I am eternally grateful for the relief from Trump. But the thing that I think everybody will talk about in the history books about this year was January 6th.
That's
where a mob of a bunch of complete idiots and sycophants and whatever else you want to think of stormed the Capitol because they thought they were saving us. Or saving the country. And I remember waking up that day and just I had never felt that sick to my stomach. Like, I think 9/11 was a really big deal, but I was a moody teenager. So I was already in a bit of a weird, moody, disgusted headspace. And so 9/11 was just a surreal, like, whoa, what the fuck? And that was clearly worse than January 6th. But waking up to the news of January 6th was just really depressing and disgusting. And so that's once again what I posit to all my conservative friends. I don't have issues with balancing the budget or even being pro gun or being against abortion. Yeah, I get all that. Wanting to hold on to these perceived American traditions, but you are losing everything that made the Republican Party great at one time or another, whether it be Lincoln's party or you get your Teddy Roosevelt's. It's a complete tarnishing and basically infection of one of the great American parties. And I am a firm believer in loyal opposition, and that we do live in a two-party system, and that ain't changing anytime soon. So, yeah, you can totally have your side and be like, nah, man, I'm team Democrat or team Republican or whatever. But getting back to a headspace where they are not your enemy, or because one of them wins, you're going to go to one of our halls of power and rub your shit on the wall. It's you're like, oh man, that's just my uncle. He has some crazy thoughts. He thinks Jesus is real. Whatever. But yeah, that was like probably the big story of the year for me.
Yeah, being very kind, extending the olive branch again after January 6th. So, and all those things they complain about, they say Democrats like that think is an opposition isn't even an opposition. That's the most annoying part. We want to
Sure.
balance the budget too, and no Democrat is
What?
pro-abortion. Like
There's gotta be
our way
some.
will have
There's
less
gotta be
abortion.
some.
Yeah, but just as like there's every Republican wants an elephant gun and wants to be able to shoot anybody that walks on their yard. Yeah, it's there might be some, but they are not the majority.
Sure. Any other thoughts?
No, that's it. We like the firemen. Democrats are fine with firemen. Whoever told you that, and the fact that you believed it makes me not care if you are my friend, but I'll keep pretending.
Somebody is saying Democrats don't like firemen.
Yes, no, that's a common Republican thing. Like they hate our first responders. So fuck anyone who can buy that bullshit.
I vaguely remember you making that crack in the drunken episode 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, no, that's totally
and I was like,
true.
What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, that's
it's like
totally...
firemen.
What?
Yeah,
I'm down with the firemen.
Yeah, I'll suck them off. Out of respect.
Yeah.
But this real quick before we get into the trivia and wrapping up the episode, these are the top 10 trending searches in 2021.
Ooh.
Number 1 was NBA. Number 2 was DMX. 3, Gabby Petito. 4, Kyle Rittenhouse. 5, Brian Laundrie. 6 is Mega Millions. 7 was AMC stock. Stonks was a big thing this year.
Yeah,
cryptocurrency, all that. Stimulus check. I was one of those people searching that regularly. Georgia Senate race. That was a big deal near the tail end of the election. It was completely front. And number 10, Squid Game. Squid Game. Sorry, Squad Game.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That makes the year seem so much worse. Those were the most searched things from it.
Gotta get. Man, I don't think I sent it to you. Did you see the weird RNC meeting where they had Kyle Rittenhouse show up?
Oh, God. No.
They were like, did the air horn work earlier?
Oh, I don't think you're sharing the sound, so I couldn't hear, but it probably did.
You heard the intro song earlier, didn't you?
No.
You didn't?
I just pretended.
Oh, God damn it.
I didn't want to stop you in the middle of the intro.
You gotta stop me, bro. Computer audio, advanced, share, stereo. Okay.
Now you can do
so at this RNC, whatever you want to call it, like grifter show, they bring out Kyle Rittenhouse. So they're like, cool, Kyle Rittenhouse. Cool. And they wouldn't stop playing that over and over again. And they had a Kyle Rittenhouse rap, like Kyle Rittenhouse is in the house. Kyle Rittenhouse, some terrible shit like that. And I was like, wow, this is what the Republican Party has become.
It's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, definitely.
Idolizing such a stupid person. It's weird.
Yeah, idolizing a crybaby cuck.
Yeah,
that's what I say. Anyway, that was another story I didn't pay much attention to, though, because I didn't have the mental or emotional fortitude to give a fuck this year very much. But with that, do you have a drink ready?
I do.
Because you didn't hear my first air horn, that means I get 2 more. I played it when you were talking about Devin Townsend.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, now you know where it was supposed to go. But
I'm sure it'll come through.
Here are the rules of this 2021 trivia game. I had to answer all of these to know what the right answers were.
Oh.
So I already took it. So we're just going to ask you, and you answer. If you get it right, I have to drink. If you get it wrong, you have to drink.
Okay.
You ready?
Gotcha. Let's do it.
Question number 1. On June 4th, Prince Harry and wife Meghan Markle announced the birth of their daughter, whose name pays tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. What is her name? Queenie, Lilibet, Elizabeth, or Alexandra?
It's not like it can't be the one that it says it is. I'm gonna go with D.
D, Alexandra?
Sure.
You are wrong. Drink.
Okay.
It is Lilibet.
Oh, that was my second guess. I'm like, it can't be Elizabeth. It would be that stupid. They're like, it's based on Elizabeth.
Queenie would be pretty bad too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lilibet sounded like a dumb 2021 name.
No. I'm like, is that the name, or is that one of those Netflix series from?
Yeah, it's that one Netflix series about chess or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. But I got that one right.
Oh wow.
If we were doing this hardcore, I'd make you drink again if I got it right and you got it wrong. But oh well, we'll move on. Next question. Which United States president had his Facebook account suspended in 2021? I'm not going to read all 4.
The Trumpy. Right?
Sir, I believe I have to hear the full name.
Donald just fucking with you, Trump.
Correct.
Is that what the J stands
And
for?
since I didn't have to list all of them, I have to drink twice.
Nice.
Which of the following billionaires went to space in 2021? Do you need me to list them?
No. Jeff Bezos.
And?
What?
And? Which of the following billionaires went to space in 2021?
Oh, there's multiple.
There's 2 in each one. So you got Jeff Bezos right. So I'll take one drink for that. The other choices were Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, Sergey Brin, Bernard Arnault, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates, Richard Branson.
Musk go up?
Nope. It was Richard Branson.
Okay.
But you don't have to drink because you got Jeff Bezos. Maybe a tiny sip.
Word.
So far, I've gotten all of these correct.
When did Branson go up? Does he have his own?
He was the Virgin Records guy.
I know who he is, but
after Bezos.
Gotcha.
And then he might have been the one that helped send Shatner up, which was another big story. William Shatner getting sent to space.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit bigger story than supply chain issues, but whatever. Which U.S. city was the first to require people to show proof of COVID-19 vaccination to enter businesses? Do you want the list?
Yeah.
Okay. You have New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, or San Antonio.
God damn it. That doesn't help at all. Those are the 2 first ones are the ones I'm guessing between. New York.
You would be correct.
Yeah.
I thought it was New York, but I was like, nah, it sounds like a California thing. But I was wrong. It's New York City.
Nice.
So far, I'm winning, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's a drink at the end for whoever wins, or
Ooh.
whatever it is. Which country hosted the delayed 2020 Olympics in 2021?
Japan.
Correct. You have to drink.
Wait, you got that one too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Still got to drink if you get it right.
Okay.
On June 25th, 2021, a fossilized skull of a new species of human, which should probably be phrased humanoid, well, whatever. A fossilized skull of a new species of human was found in northeast China. What nickname was the skull given? Need the
I'm
list?
gonna need these. Yep.
All right. Bright-eyed man, first man, dragon man, lost man.
First man sounds familiar.
It is dragon man.
Weird. Skyrim came
I
out like
can't.
so long ago.
Sure. What were they called?
Dragonborn.
Yeah, Dragonborn. I can't remember exactly why he was called Dragon Man. I think it might have been where he was discovered, something to do with dragons or something. I don't think it had anything to do with the skull,
Gotcha.
but could be. Excuse me, got the hiccups now. What was the former name of the breakfast food brand that changed its name to Pearl Milling Company in June 2021?
Aunt Jemima.
Oh, damn. Didn't even need the list.
I just saw a commercial for him the other day, and it said down in the corner, formerly Aunt Jemima. That's the only reason. It just happens to be a thing I learned in the last couple of days, or I would never know it.
Well, and this list is pretty helpful because the other ones they named was Hungry Jack, Krusty's, and Bisquick. It was like,
They're
oh,
all
you know,
still things.
Bisquick is getting canceled for that offensive word.
Son of a Bisquick.
Maybe the quick shows up. Maybe the bis is, shows up when it feels like it. Huh? What anniversary is the Harry Potter film franchise celebrating in 2021? It's 10th, 20th, 30th, or 40th?
Hold on, I'm doing math. This is hard.
Thought you were a Potter boy.
I am. It's got to be 20, right?
Yeah, it's 20th. First movie came out in 2001.
Yep. Okay. I had to do it.
2001.
Yeah.
Did we ever talk about that little story of mine when I was in detention?
Oh yeah, the devil Harry Potter thing, or is that I think of a different one.
Devil Harry Potter. No.
Okay, different.
When I was incarcerated as a youth, the first movie had just come out. I was like the tail end of 2001 going into 2002. And the guard outside of our rooms kept watching it over and over. And the thing is in those rooms, they don't turn off the lights. You have plastic pillows. So it's just a bright light. And plastic pillows, shitty blankets, your roommate's farting next to you. And all I could hear is I hated that fucking franchise for the longest time. Still wouldn't say I became a fan of it, but that's definitely like Pavlov's dogs. Like, if I ever heard Harry Potter music, I was like, yeah.
I mean, the movies are not even worth, they're okay. But the books
they start to get pretty good near the end. Like the first ones are kind of goofy, but
yeah, they get better, but still, it's not even like those books are too big to put into a movie. They're too long, too much stuff in them to try to put into a movie.
Fair enough. All right, wrapping it up. We're getting pretty close. Well, never mind, not that close, but that's fine. We enjoyed this game. Which of the following James Bond films released in 2021 was Daniel Craig's last movie as the title character? From Russia with Love, Spectre, No Time to Die, or Skyfall?
Ooh. Let's see. I can't remember what was the latest one. Spectre. That's my guess.
Yes, to drink.
Which one?
It was No Time to Die.
Or I don't remember even seeing anything about that one. So cool.
Yep.
I don't think I've seen any of the Daniel Craig ones even.
What?
Well, I don't think I've seen all the Pierce Brosnan ones for that matter.
Shit, man. I might have to throw some key James Bond movies at you. We'll have to watch these over the computer or something.
That'd be fun.
I don't think it should necessarily take up a visit. It's just something we do every now and again.
Throw on a Bond. Nice.
Yeah. Some of them are like just the progression of what that character is really interesting to me. And another little anecdotal story, I'll try not to interject these too much, but I think on the show I've never mentioned that my brother used to pin me to the ground, and he had a CD compilation of all the James Bond theme songs. And he'd press play and he'd be like, name the movie. What movie does this one come from? And he's like hitting my forehead with his knuckle.
Yeah.
Over and over. It's like name 10 fruits, but James Bond theme songs.
Man,
it might be his
trivia.
It might be his fault. I was like, I have to know that. But yeah. Anyway,
nice.
I was like, that's kind of a sad story, but no, it was a lovely memory. Once my forehead started to feel better. Which female tennis player was the surprise winner of the U.S. Open in 2021? Need the list?
Say the names. Yeah, I think I will recognize it. Maybe
Naomi Osaka, Leila Fernandez, Ashley Barty, Emma Raducanu.
The first one, Osaka.
That's what I thought. I was wrong. It was Emma Raducanu. So I will drink. And you will drink.
Okay.
So far, how many have you gotten wrong? Have you kept track?
No.
I have only gotten 2 wrong so far.
Okay. I think I've gotten 3 or 4 right because we got a few we both got right. So.
All right. Which of these famous couples did not break up in 2021? Bill and Melinda Gates, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, Elon Musk and Grimes. Who did not break up?
Man, I don't care about any of these people. I don't know. The second one? Who were those people? Those are the people
You're right, but you got to say their names.
Goldie?
And?
Buck?
Buck.
I don't know. It's already
Goldie
gone.
Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Okay.
Kurt Russell is Snake Plissken. I'll take a sip for that, I guess.
Me too.
Yep. All those other ones broke up. What a bunch of losers.
Lame.
Yep. In 2021, who was the first woman of color to win an Oscar for Best Director? Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, Kelly Reichardt for First Cow, Regina King for One Night in Miami, Lorene Scafaria for Hustlers.
Oh man. I seem to recall something here about something about Nomadland, so I'm going to guess that one because I haven't heard of the other ones. So
you got it, Chloe Zhao.
Nice.
She went on to direct Eternals for Marvel, which wasn't one of their biggest movies, but it was one of the bigger movies of the year.
Nice.
Which country won the Eurovision Song Contest in 2021 in Rotterdam? Switzerland, Malta, Greece, or Italy?
I don't even know what that thing is. Malta. Because I like the name.
I guess Switzerland. I was wrong. It was Italy. So we'll both sip.
I don't even know what that thing is, what they're talking about. So
Eurovision?
Yeah.
It's like weird river dance, singer dance stuff.
Huh.
Yeah. Will Ferrell made a silly comedy about it on Netflix. All right. We're going to try to power through these last little bit. You ready?
Ready.
Which Dr. Seuss book will Dr. Seuss Enterprises no longer publish due to its offensive imagery? If I Ran the Zoo, The Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I don't think it would be any of the last 3, so that must be the first one.
Yeah, I think they could have gotten a little more obscure.
Yeah.
There's no way they're canceling those bottom 3.
Yeah.
If I Ran the Zoo. What a piece of shit. That book is just as bad as Mein Kampf.
They were gonna do Iraq the Zoo next.
Exactly. Which country topped the leaderboard at the delayed 2020 Olympics? I'm not going to list this for you.
Us.
Us? US?
Yeah.
Wait,
Ruskies.
you were correct. My bad.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I was like, the ones I saw, we were doing pretty good.
I was looking at it saying I was wrong and I still couldn't. Maybe China's gotten to me. I said it was China, but I think China did win the most gold medals.
Oh.
But yeah, US got the most medals.
Oh, okay.
So let me take a quick little sipsy. So it's known, I do not prefer this version of the trivia game. I like when we can go back and forth.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, but I have to chatter for so much of it. Can't get my sipsies in. Fuck. Which legend of the musical theater world sadly passed away in November 2021?
Hey, we shouted him out. Stephen Sondheim.
And I got it wrong because I forgot.
Oh my Jesus.
I know you shouted him out. I was
Who
like,
did you guess?
Leonard Bernstein?
Ah,
That sounded about right, but Stephen Sondheim. I did mess with it in my brain for a minute, but I was wrong. Sipsy. In which of the following canals did the container ship Ever Given run aground? Corinth Canal, Suez Canal, Panama Canal,
bing, bing.
Beijing Hangzhou Canal.
Yeah.
Shout out Hangzhou.
Oh, hey.
Shout out Hangzhou.
Did you go get your feet in that canal?
That was the city I lived in China.
Have you stuck your feet in that very canal?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so anyways.
Smart.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't even
Suez.
know that they had a canal.
Well, it sounds like a big one if it's got those shipping containers. So I don't know if it actually does.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Suez Canal.
correct. Sipsy. Abdul Razak Gurna won a Nobel Prize in 2021 in which of the following fields? Literature, peace, medicine, economics.
Man, I have no idea. Let's go economics.
Incorrect.
Dang.
I was wrong as well. I said medicine, assuming it would be some vaccine COVID-y thing. But nope, he won for literature.
Wow.
And I don't know what.
There you go.
The delayed Euro 2020 football tournament took place in 2021. Which country won?
Oh, God. Better list them.
Italy, Spain, England, France.
England.
Incorrect. I guess Spain. I was wrong as well. It was Italy.
Italy. Okay.
Italy wins another one.
Okay.
They're kind of winning this year in a way. They also had that crappy movie House of Gucci come out. I don't know if that's attached to Italy or not. Totally. But England, I remember, was making quite an advancement. And then all this horrible, hateful rhetoric came out on the internet.
Uh-huh.
And then you're like, yeah, you didn't know football fans were like this? Like, not just American football fans, football hooligans, as they like to call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hooligans. They're, they don't speak very kindly of other nations they have to compete with kicking the ball.
Indeed.
Yeah. I definitely don't think humanity won this year.
No.
I've kind of become less of a fan. Some years I go up, sometimes I go down, just like the stock market.
Yeah.
Stonks are down for humanity in my mind.
Yeah.
All right. These next ones are worth double, triple, quadruple the points.
Oh no.
If you beat me, or if you match me, I have to finish my beer.
Oh.
If I win, you have to finish yours. You correct? Or ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
I'm not keeping track, but yeah, let's do it. We could just both finish our beers.
Yep. Which of these is the name of a hurricane which struck at the end of August 2021? Hurricane Ira, Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Isla.
I know that this second two are both hurricanes. I'm going to go with Ida.
Correct.
Okay. I remember hearing that one on the news a lot.
And our last trivia question of 2021. What was the name of the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, which took place in Scotland? COP26, MOP21, CAP96, BOP28.
What the one with the year in it? I guess would be my guess. I have
With
no
the year
idea.
in it.
The one that has 21 in it, I'm guessing.
Oh, MOP21.
That's my best guess.
Incorrect. Drink your beer.
Why
It
would
was
they call it?
COP26.
Why would they call a year that's not that year?
I
That's
think
so
it was
weird.
26 because it's the 26th one in Copenhagen. Is Copenhagen in Scotland?
No, Denmark.
I don't know what the COP stands for.
Huh.
I guessed correctly, though, or vaguely remembered it.
Climate on
Climate
party.
on point 26.
Yeah, it's getting hot in here.
Kyle Rittenhouse. All right. Well,
Oh,
kind of a depressing year, but a good episode.
indeed.
And
We
with
did what
that-
we do to get through the year.
Absolutely. We survived. Suck my unit.
Now do it again next year. Survive.
Probably just be sitting in a bathtub farting. All righty. Well, Happy New Year to you. I'm sure I might
well.
chit chat with you before that happens, but
Indeed.
yeah, that's the last episode of the year, number 58.
There you go. Almost made it. We almost had exact. Yeah. That's
We
interesting.
almost got to
tried
69.
So close.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you at episode 420.
All righty. Ta-ta!
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at fogkoshka@gmail.com. That is FAKOSHKA@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome